I cannot tell you how many times I would get caught at a red light belting this song.
I mean, you got to know what works for you. You know, after battling depression and suicide for years, former sports reporter Brendan Seho found it within himself to take his experience and turn it into something fruitful.
Seho now relates to the athletes, musicians, and celebrities that he regularly sits down with for his podcast called The Mental Game, many of which sound just like Colts linebacker Shaquille Leonard.
I wasn't ready for someone to try to step up in that void that I was missing.
Right.
So I mean, I was, in a corner. I wasn't eating. I was in a very, 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 very bad space, man.
And of course, we have Brandon here all the way from Cincinnati. Please welcome to the show, Mr. Seho, also a former co-worker of mine. Hey.
Let's go way back. That's so fun.
Isn't that so fun?
Yeah.
You know, you have a remarkable testimony. I think some people don't understand how you translate your experience into the Mental Game podcast. Tell us a little bit about your testimony and how you do that.
Yeah, so I was a sports reporter in Cincinnati, and obviously I had the great pleasure of reporting on the Bengals going to the Super Bowl 2 years ago. But on the personal side of things, I was going through a lot of tough stuff with my mental health. I had lost 3 family members. The girl that I was dating left me, and I was unfortunately suicidal for 3 months and had to check myself into a mental health hospital in the Cincinnati area. And in therapy, this idea of a mental health podcast was born because I had to put out a letter and say, well, I wasn't on TV for 2 or 3 weeks. And I got a lot of replies. And I thought, all right, if people are going to reach out or be inspired to go get help from this little Cincinnati sports reporter, what if I reach out to the NFL players I know or reach out to even bigger celebrities, musicians, influencers, and get everyone to talk about mental health? It's been a really cool journey, and it's been less than a year, so it's been awesome.
Wow.
It's hard enough for us common folk to talk about mental health.
Yeah.
How much does it help, though, when you're bringing in people who seem like on the surface they have it all together and everything's perfect and you're covering the Super Bowl and they're playing in the Super Bowl, but they're also dealing with those same day in and day out issues?
Yeah, it's interesting to hear from different athletes, especially being a sports reporter. So NFL legend Ricky Williams is one of the first people that told me yes and came on the Mental Game. And he was awesome. You see Kate Flannery there, who played Meredith in The Office.
Wow.
She actually told me when I reached out to her, she goes, I've never been asked about my mental health in an interview.
Wow.
And so getting her to open up, she had a toxic relationship in her younger days that actually, her boyfriend at the time went bankrupt. She was part of that because they were dating or engaged, had the same house. And she really opened up and told that story. And it's crazy when like someone like that says, I've never been asked about my mental health before. And we saw the clip before of Colts linebacker Shaquille Leonard, and that episode's coming out in about 2 weeks. But you think their life's perfect and they have everything going for them, but they're just like you and I and everyone watching at home. They have stuff going on.
Yeah. You know, what I love about you opening up this conversation is that you're exposing what people's grounding points are.
Mm-hmm.
And by the grounding point, I mean the part where you hit it and you got to go somewhere, right?
Yeah.
What was your grounding point, and has anyone else's grounding points in their stories really impacted you and changed your perspective?
I think for me, and this is really honest and kind of dark, but like I knew that I wasn't going to be here if I didn't check myself into a mental health hospital a year ago. And I can't believe that that's where I was at, but thank God I went there and got the help I did. And you hear other people's stories, you talk with psychiatrists, and there's people of all ages, all races, from 18 to 70 years old in these classrooms at these mental health facilities. You're talking with psychiatrists, trying to figure out, why do I feel so alone? And for me, it was just that alone feeling of not having, like, I had everything. I had the dream job I wanted. I got to go out and do some cool things, but I turned to alcohol, and I'm about to hit tomorrow 100 days sober.
Come on,
and so I'm really excited about that.
Yes.
Thank you. And so, like, just taking those bad coping mechanisms out of your life and figuring out how to move on, that was the big thing for me.
That's good.
It's going to be really interesting. I know a lot of people obviously followed Shaq and his story, obviously being here in Indianapolis, so a lot of people are going to be looking forward to hearing that. And we're so thankful that you came all the way down from Cincy to share your story and share the mental game with us, because I think that a lot of people can resonate with that, and it's going to be really helpful. So we appreciate it.
Thank you so much. This is awesome, and you can find it on YouTube and every podcast platform.
And of course, we will also have it on allindiana.tv.
Yep.
B, we're proud of you, man. Keep shining your light. We
Thank
love
you
that.
so much.
This is what it looks like when you shine your light.